Thank you, Sarah. And thank you all so much for being here this afternoon. Appreciate it greatly. You're investing your time to be healthy, which is awesome. So as Sarah said, my name's Mitchell and I'm a physical preparation coach. Has anyone heard of what that is before? Like 2 people. Let me explain. I'm a person who's responsible for physically preparing athletes to play sport. So the areas of flexibility, strength, speed, endurance, injury prevention, unfortunately recovery, and then move into areas like nutrition, supplementation, planning training years with athletes, coaches, that type of thing. And over the past 20 years, I've been fortunate to work with athletes in World Cups, World Championships, the Olympics, in multiple sports, and I've seen physical performance at the highest of highs and the absolute lowest of lows, particularly when athletes retire. So I'm here to share a little bit of the information, knowledge and wisdom that I've gained over the past 20 years in this arena with you in terms of physical health. So this one slide here, I'd suggest taking a photo of it, because if you forget everything that I say this afternoon, understand this. Take care of your body. It's the only place you've got to live, by the late, great Jim Rohn. And Gemma just mentioned that. Now, when I talk to people, and like even today, people have said, oh, where are you from? And I'm from the Gold Coast. I was actually born here in Sydney, but I live on the Gold Coast. And there's people here from America and some people here from Europe and different places. But ultimately, the only place we've got to live is in this body. So while we're locomoting this planet, this vessel, did you see me here in? The vessel that you're in is ultimately the only place we live for 24/7. So doesn't it make sense to optimize it? I think it does. So, when it comes to systems of the body, in terms of physical health, what systems of the body come to mind for you? And I'll give you one, the musculoskeletal system. So let's get some interaction here. What's another system of the body when it comes to physical health that comes to mind for you? The nervous system, fantastic. What else? Sorry? Someone here. Muscular, immune system, absolutely. What else? Skeletal system, the brain. Nervous. There's a whole bunch of systems, and you can see them here: immune, digestive, cardiovascular, respiratory, nervous, endocrine system, and so on. Now, from your understanding, without doing any research, without just going on your own basic personal experiences, would you say that physical activity, movement, whatever label you want to call it, has a positive or a negative relationship with the systems of the body? What would you say? Positive, right? You all know that intuitively based on your own personal experiences. So it's no secret that the overall correlation between moderate physical activity, and I say moderate for a reason, because we're going to come and visit this in a second, is a positive one. Now, who's heard of Tony Robbins? One of the things that I've learned from him, I've learned many of the things from him, he says often people are motivated by one or two things: moving away from pain or moving towards pleasure. So I don't know what you are, so I've prepared something for both groups today, right? So the first group, moving away from pain, that's probably me. That sums up my personality type. The link between exercise, movement, whatever label you want to give it, and disease. So a lack of exercise is a major cause of chronic diseases. And chronic diseases are major killers in the world today. Does anyone know anyone that's had cancer, a heart attack, diabetes? Put your hands up if you know someone that's had something like that. Now, keep in mind, all the people that just don't put their hands up despite what I say, that's basically everyone in the room, right? And physical inactivity is a primary cause of most chronic diseases. I'm going to say that again. Physical inactivity is a primary cause of most chronic diseases. Now, if that's true, which it is, the reverse is also true. So what's the reverse here? Physical activity is a primary cause of chronic disease prevention. Do you see this? This is a really important fact. And there was a group of doctors that got together in 2015 in the UK, and they did a whole bunch of longitudinal studies. Not these short, 6-week studies, but long-term, looked at papers and research from across a whole bunch of different demographics, and came to the conclusion that exercise is literally the miracle cure. So when people who believe in miracles, or some people don't believe in miracles, literally every single day that you're a vessel on this planet locomoting, you have the opportunity to actually create a miracle, and that is moving your body, as Gemma said. I'm going to get more specific about what movement in a second, but understand that exercise is a miracle cure. If a pharmaceutical company could bottle what physical activity, moderate physical activity could do for us, without doubt, hands down, it'd be the most wealthy company, the most valuable company on the planet. And when I'm talking about these things, you can have a look there, but on your very right, you'll see despite this, only 1.5% of spending is dedicated to prevention. And this is where the opportunity is for all of us. And when they're talking about 1.5% of spending, I'm not just talking about financial spending here. I'm also talking about you investing, how you invest your time, how you invest your energy. Because there's a great saying that by the time you need to do something, it's often too late. 50% of people who get heart attacks die immediately. They don't get a second chance. The 50% that do get a second chance, often, not all the time, because it's not a strong enough message somehow, but often they will start to do something about it. All right? So don't be one of the 98.5%. Invest in your health through prevention. So, and this is a huge area. Has anyone heard of the microbiome? What microbiome is? This is a really trendy thing at the moment. It's a really important thing. And exercise leads to healthier microbiome, because for the longest time it was thought that it was just nutrition and supplementation, the information that we give our body would impact our microbiome. But no, it's actually exercise has the ability to have a significant impact on our microbiome. So where's a microbiome? It's estimated that on average the human body contains 40 trillion microbial cells, about the same number as human cells. And what these microbiome affect the body in many different ways, right? We've got them in our mouth, we've got them on our tongue, we've got them in our gut, we've got them in our brain, and so on. And these are microorganisms that play an enormous role in producing energy, processing out the vitamins and nutrition that we take in. They have a huge role in our health. And exercise, this miracle cure, just doing a couple of regular bouts of exercise can have a significant impact on the health of our microbiome. And how much does that cost? Nothing. It's completely free. Part of the miracle cure. Now the next one, the effect of exercise on mood, releasing serotonin or endorphins. Who's ever exercised and got that high they talk about? In the 80s it was a runner's high. Has anyone had that before? But just feeling great after training. It's something that I certainly love. And exercise for mental health. This is something that's come out quite recently. Aerobic exercise, including jogging, swimming, cycling, walking, gardening, have been proven to reduce anxiety and depression. Again, that's part of that miracle cure. We're not talking about taking antidepressants here. We're not talking about doing counselling to minimise anxiety. We're talking about moving this vessel that you're born with, like literally this afternoon, going out into the grassed area over there and going for a walk for 40 minutes, for 30 minutes, for 20 minutes and having a chat with someone. You immediately gain these impacts. You don't have to wait 7 days to get the impact. You get it immediately. And if we take it a step further, exercise improves mental health by reducing anxiety, depression, negative mood, and improving self-esteem and cognitive function. It's also been shown to alleviate symptoms of low self-esteem and social withdrawal. And the social withdrawal topic is interesting, and it's something that Jem just mentioned. 2 months ago, October? Yeah, 2 months ago, I was in Europe and I went to Sardinia. And there's a couple of little towns in Sardinia that are called blue zones. Has anyone heard what a blue zone is before? And a blue zone is a group of people who naturally live to beyond 100 years old in good health, more than anywhere else in the world. So while hanging out in Sardinia, which is a beautiful place, highly recommend going there, we drove to these two towns that are about 2.5 hours away that are blue zones. And one of the things we noticed, and this is not a double-blinded placebo-controlled study, this is just something I noticed by talking to the locals there, is that the elderly, and when I'm talking elderly, I'm talking 80, 90, 100-plus-year-old people, are so integrated in the community, it's not funny. They have little plots of land that they look after, they ride their bikes regularly, and during the day, they sit on the steps because it's so beautiful in the sun in summer in Italy, if you've ever been there. And there was a group of 3, and I actually videoed it, we interviewed them, just because I thought people wouldn't believe me if we didn't. We talked to this elderly gentleman through Google Translator. He's got no English, I've got no Italian. So we used Google Translator to do this, had a great 15-minute conversation with him, and he was 96. His younger friend was in his mid-60s, and his younger friend was in his early 40s. And they were all just hanging out as friends, right? So the impact that social withdrawal and community have, as Gemma talked about, and Ayurvedic in particular, has such an incredible benefit. Being part of a community on our physical health is just incredible, and our psychological health as well. I probably don't need to go into the regular benefits, the benefits of regular activity, apart from it just being fun and all the phenomenal things it does for us. But this is the section I want to focus on more. What activities are optimal for our physical health? What do you guys reckon? What's optimal activity for our physical health? Swimming, walking, what else? Sorry? Running, yep, what else? Boxing, yep. So here's the answer. The best exercise is the one you want to do, enjoy, and have a passion for. Period, the end. If I could do a mic drop now, I'd do it. All right? Probably better not. And I want to just go into this a little bit more because this is a really important topic. So the best physical activity is the one you enjoy, you want to do and have a passion for. Now, I do want everyone to participate in this. Put your hand up. Be brutally honest. If you do enjoy exercising, moving your body, please put your hand up. Awesome. Thank you. Now, please be brutally honest. Put your hand up if you do not enjoy exercise or physical activity. Yeah. Some people hate it so much they don't even put their hand up, right? So when it comes to this, and as a coach, this is where I get a little bit specific with things because I look at things and if someone works in front of computers and takes up the sport of surfing, straight away they're going to sit in this crappy posture most of the day. Surfing involves a lot of paddling, it's internal rotation, they're going to get, short, tight lats, they're going to be internally. So I look at that and sort of start to worry. But I'm talking on a broader scale than that. I'm just talking about being good for us so this human body can be optimal. So when it comes to this area, physical activity doesn't have to mean going to the gym, wearing Lycra or getting up at 5 in the morning and training. For example, property investing is a religion here in Australia. Who invests in property or knows people who do? And they like to rip out bathrooms, rip up carpet, pull down tiles, re-tile things. Have you noticed that? Is that hard work or easy work? It's pretty hard work, right? But it adds value to the property. But that's physical activity. So a lot of the physical activity that you get can be an absolute byproduct of following passions that you enjoy. And if you've ever renovated, and I've renovated before myself, you sleep pretty well at night, don't you? I didn't train on the days that I renovated. So that in itself is physical activity. You can turn your passions into an incredible miracle cure for yourself. Now, there's people who don't like renovating, but who likes traveling? Most people like traveling. What happens when you travel? You walk a lot. One of you is lazy. I'm usually the lazy one. And then one of you is engaged one who's got the phone and going, we need to go here, we need to go there, we've got to be here by 2 o'clock, we've got to get there, we've got to go climb up there, and so on, right? And you come back a lot of the times lighter than you left. Not that weight's an indicator of physical health necessarily, but you come back in good shape. And there was an example, I was in Mexico for the 3rd time about 2 years ago, and we booked this Airbnb over this beautiful big beach. It was just amazing. But what we didn't know is the hill, the incline to get up there, I'm not kidding you, was like this. It was about 150 metres. So I only went out twice a day because I had to walk down the hill to go to the beach in the morning and come back and then go back out for dinner. I wasn't going out a 3rd time. That was incidental activity. That was plenty for me. So keep these things in mind for the people that don't enjoy activity. If you have work meetings at work, get out and go for a walk for 20 minutes. Have a walking meeting. Get productive. Do 2 things at once instead of just sitting there. There are so many opportunities for us to experience and to magnify this miracle cure that exercise is. Now, what else impacts our physical health? That's a question. Thank you. Our nutritional health. So Jem's already talked about in nutritional health. What else impacts our physical health? Our psychological health absolutely can have an impact. Our financial health that Mike will be talking about in a second can impact our physical health as well. But physical health can also interact those things positively as well. So there's a real synergy amongst these things. And if you're having challenges with any of those areas, whether it's physical or financial or nutritional, it's a good idea to, whatever you've got a foothold on, go deep in that area, and it'll often rub off positively on the other areas as well. I can't stress that enough. And what's the cost to this miracle cure? If we get real about it, you can hire professionals like me that cost hundreds of dollars an hour, and we get really specific about detailed things to optimize a human body to perform at the absolute highest level on the Olympic stage, right? But if we just want to improve our health in general, how much does this really cost? How much does it cost to go out and park further away like Gemma talked about? It's free. It costs nothing. So this miracle cure literally costs a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, a little bit of discipline. Otherwise, has to be no financial cost. In other words, there's no excuse. Now, I wanted to share this with you because this is a great diagram. This is from a Copenhagen study a while ago, looking at the correlation between different levels of exercise and death rates. So if you're wondering, how much exercise is Mitch talking about here? Well, inactivity leads to mortality. We've established that. But there's a sweet spot. There's a purple patch there where light to moderate physical activity is actually really beneficial. It actually increases our lifespan. But too much physical activity, strenuous physical activity, the stuff that I actually do with athletes, is not really good for your longevity long term. And it's one of the reasons why an athlete's career is typically so short, because you can only tolerate that for a certain period of time. So if you're wondering how much, it's not a lot. Light to moderate physical activity that you enjoy can make a significant difference to your life. It's actually unbelievable. But keep this in mind, your body is an Amazon Prime. It takes more than 2 days to get what you want, okay? We're good with that? But you will notice it within 2 days. Your microbiome will have benefits. Your cardiovascular system, your psychological health, etc., will benefit immediately. But the compound interest, if you understand how that works, there's a compound interest in terms of return from a health point of view as well. And if in doubt, take care of your body because it's the only place you have to live. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.